Imagine this scene. You're standing in the open air, face to face with a man who has only one goal: to end your life. There is no way out, no allies rushing to help, no safety net waiting to catch you if you fall. Just you, him, and the silence that feels heavier than steel. The only barrier between you and death is not a weapon in your hand, not the ground beneath your feet, but the sharpness of your mind. What would you do? Would you freeze, your body refusing to obey as fear floods your veins? Would your hands shake so visibly that your enemy sees weakness before the first strike even lands? Would your heart beat thunder in your chest, betraying your terror, echoing like a drum that signals defeat? Or could you stand unmoved? Could you hold yourself still as a mountain rooted deep in the earth, unshaken by wind or storm, untouchable by chaos? Could you remain detached, composed, your mind sharper than any blade, your spirit calm as a lake at dawn? This moment, as extreme as it sounds, is not just an exercise in philosophy. It's about survival. And for one man in history, this wasn't imagination, it was his reality. Miyamoto Musashi, the most legendary swordsman in Japanese history. The man who walked into more than 60 life or death duels and never lost. Not once, not even by chance. He didn't just survive battles, he dominated them. His very presence unnerved opponents. His strategy dismantled their plans before the fight even began. But here's the part that most people miss. Musashi's strength wasn't only in the steel of his sword. It wasn't only in the precision of his strikes or the stamina of his body. His true mastery was in his mind. He understood that before the sword ever moved, the battle was already decided in the mental arena. If your mind breaks, your body follows. If your mind remains unshakable, you control the outcome. Musashi knew that fear is natural, but panic is optional. And in his writings, he left behind not just lessons for warriors of the past, but a roadmap for all of us, anyone who faces confrontation, pressure, or manipulation. His words speak across centuries to remind us that the mind is the ultimate weapon. Think about it. You don't have to stand on a battlefield with blades drawn for this truth to matter. Confrontation comes in many forms. Sometimes it's an enemy on the field. Sometimes it's an opponent in business who wants to corner you. Sometimes it's a manipulative person who knows exactly how to push your buttons until you explode. The arena changes, but the rule stays the same. If you can stay calm under pressure, you win, every single time. So let's dive deeper into Musashi's philosophy, not in the abstract, but in the cold, sharp truths that can make you unshakable. These lessons are not distant relics. They are living strategies you can apply today, in your own life, in your own battles. Lesson 1. Think lightly of yourself, and deeply of the world. The very first mistake people make in any confrontation is this: they take things personally. They let the insult, the challenge, the disrespect crawl under their skin and infect their mind. The moment you allow ego to steer the wheel, you've already lost. Why? Because ego makes you emotional. Emotion clouds your judgment. Judgment slips, and you overreact. Overreaction gives the other side control. It's like handing your opponent the sword and asking them to strike first. Musashi understood this better than anyone. He never fought for pride. He never fought to prove he was superior. He fought with strategy. In his famous book, The Dakodo, Musashi wrote these timeless words: "Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world." What does this mean? It means detach. Separate your sense of self from the heat of the moment. Don't see insults as daggers aimed at your heart. See them as gusts of wind passing by. Step back mentally. Observe the situation as if you were watching someone else play out the scene. The more distance you create between your emotions and the event, the calmer you become, and calmness is power. Consider a business negotiation. The moment pride or insecurity takes hold, you become predictable. Maybe someone questions your worth, and your need to defend yourself flares up. In that moment, you've lost leverage. You've shifted from strategist to reactor. But the person who stays emotionally neutral, who treats the negotiation as a chessboard rather than a personal attack, always has the upper hand. So, the next time someone insults you, mocks you, or tries to provoke you, remember, it's not about you. It's about control. The person who keeps calm has control. And the one with control always wins. Lesson 2. Fixation is the way to defeat. Have you ever noticed how panic often comes when we cling to only one possible outcome? When you believe there's only a single way to win, you lock yourself into rigidity. And rigidity is brittle. It snaps under pressure. Musashi called this a death sentence. In his teachings, he wrote, "Fixation is the way to defeat. Fluidity is the way to victory." Think about an argument. If your only goal is to prove you're right, you've already lost. Why? Because your opponent can sense your emotional investment. They see how badly you need validation. They will exploit it, push your buttons, and watch you spiral. Instead, Musashi teaches us to be formless, to be unpredictable, to be adaptable. In battle, he never repeated the same tactic. Sometimes he wielded two swords. Sometimes he carried only a wooden one. Sometimes, he intentionally arrived late to irritate and unsettle his opponent before the fight even began. He was never what they expected him to be, and that made him untouchable. The same applies to modern life. If someone tries to pressure you, don't react in the way they anticipate. If they expect anger, remain silent. If they expect resistance, surprise them with agreement that throws them off balance. Predictability is a cage. Fluidity is freedom. Confrontation is war, whether with swords or with words. And war is won not by those who cling to one rigid plan, but by those who remain fluid, ready to adapt in an instant. Lesson 3. There is more than one path to the top of the mountain. Most people panic in confrontation because they think losing is the end. They believe there's only one way to win: dominate, overpower, or outmaneuver. And when that single path is blocked, fear takes over. But Musashi revealed a deeper truth. Mastery is not about walking a single, rigid path. True mastery is about recognizing that there are countless ways to reach the summit. The mountain is vast. There are trails hidden in shadows, winding paths around cliffs, and narrow steps carved through stone. Victory is not confined to one route. When you embrace this mindset, fear loosens its grip. Suddenly, losing one option doesn't mean defeat. It simply means finding another way. And in confrontation, that flexibility is your lifeline. So ask yourself, are you clinging to only one path? Or are you open to seeing the endless ways forward? Because here's the secret. Once you stop fearing that there is only one way to win, you become unbreakable. And this is only the beginning of Musashi's wisdom. His teachings go far beyond tactics of battle. They reveal the psychology of power, calmness, and control. On this path, every lesson sharpens the mind like a blade, preparing you for the next challenge. So now, let's take the next step and uncover the following principle. One that shows how Musashi mastered not just the external fight, but the internal one as well. understanding that there is not just one path to the top of the mountain. We now move on to another teaching of Musashi, a principle that broadens our vision and changes the way we view every confrontation. Musashi once said, "You must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain." This image reminds us of a simple yet profound truth. Victory does not always come from brute strength or direct clashes. Defeat often comes to those who let their opponent control the rules of engagement, forcing them to react instead of taking the initiative to strategize. The wise understand that, at times, control itself is the key to victory. Picture a duel. Not every smart move is to strike. Sometimes, the wiser choice is to withdraw, allowing your opponent to unravel and destroy themselves. An insecure person feeds on reactions. If you refuse to respond, you strip them of their power. In an argument, silence can sometimes echo louder than 1,000 words. Let your opponent overextend themselves. In doing so, they will expose their own weaknesses. In negotiation, occasionally conceding for the moment opens the door to a greater victory later on. The greatest strategists always make their opponents feel secure right before taking everything away. The secret lies in never becoming predictable. Do not trap yourself in only one way of winning. Adaptability is true power. The moment you realize that there are countless paths to victory, that is the moment you stop playing by their rules and start playing by your own. From there, Musashi revealed another principle. From one thing, no 10,000 things. He was never undefeated because he was the strongest, but because he was the most prepared. His philosophy was built on pattern recognition, understanding the underlying structures hidden within every conflict, every game, and every human interaction. So what does this mean? It means that when you deeply grasp one fundamental truth, you unlock an entire world of knowledge. Every confrontation follows a pattern, and once you recognize that pattern, you can predict the outcome before it even unfolds. This applies to everything. If you understand human nature, you will see power plays before they arise, recognizing who is attempting to manipulate you even before they act. If you understand body language, you can detect lies before they are spoken. A slight twitch of the mouth, a glance to the side, these reveal more than words ever could. If you understand psychology, you can see people's insecurities, their fears, their weaknesses, and you can use them without uttering a single threat. Musashi trained with obsession. He studied not only swordsmanship but also strategy, philosophy, psychology, and the art of warfare. He was not simply the most skilled, he was always 10 steps ahead of everyone else. That is why he never lost. And the secret to remaining calm in any situation lay in this: he already knew what was coming. After this, he affirmed another truth: you can only fight the way you train. Most people crumble under pressure because they have never truly prepared for conflict. They live in the illusion that when the critical moment arrives, strength will suddenly appear. But Musashi called this delusion. He said, if you have never prepared for battle, how can you expect to win one? If you have never trained yourself to remain calm under pressure, why would you magically stay calm when the stakes are high? If you flinch at a mere insult, how will you face a real confrontation? If you panic when money runs short, how will you survive a financial collapse? If you crumble under stress, how will you ever rise to greatness? For Musashi, training was never optional. It was the price of mastery. Train yourself every single day. Stay calm when someone tries to provoke you, for self-control is a weapon. Stand firm when pressure mounts, For the ability to endure is what separates those who collapse from those who rise victorious. When someone tries to manipulate you, the most powerful response is to remain unreadable. Because if they can't figure you out, they can't control you. Every conflict you encounter is not just a problem, it's training for the next one. Every reaction you learn to master is another step toward real power. Master yourself, and you master the game. That is the ultimate cut. Masashi's teachings weren't simply about fighting with a sword. They were about something far deeper, mastering yourself. The world is filled with people who react emotionally, who get stuck in rigid patterns of thinking, and who collapse the moment real pressure hits. But that won't be you. You will be different. When you stop taking things personally, you become unshakable. No one can bend you through emotions. When you stop clinging to one outcome, you become unpredictable, flexible enough that no one can outmaneuver you. When you start seeing the bigger picture, you become strategic, avoiding the traps others fall into so easily. And when you learn to recognize patterns, you become unstoppable. Because every move your opponent makes has already been anticipated. If you prepare for real conflict, you become invincible. You won't break when it matters most. Think about it. Most people drift through life on autopilot. They react without thinking, lash out without strategy, and live in fear of confrontation. But in a world where everyone reacts, the calm one is the one who wins. So, the next time someone challenges you, don't panic. Don't let emotions take the wheel. Instead, smile, because deep down, you already know they've lost the battle before it even begins. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you'd like to go even deeper, you can join our community membership for exclusive benefits. I'll see you in the next one.